Please stand and join me in pledging
Oh, they've started the meeting.
The flag of the United States of
America, and to the republic which is
one nation, under God,
Under God.
with liberty and justice.
and justice for all.
And justice for all.
But have a seat. And then we're not going to have the piano player. Paula is at home. She's got painters in, so she couldn't make it today. So could you please join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do?
Is it the truth?
Fair to lawful concern,
Concern,
goodwill, and better will be beneficial to all concerned. Mr. J. Eastman, would you like to come up and give us our invocation? Tim? There we go. This is polio month, as probably most of you know. And one of the really innovative polio projects around the district was this one, which is the sale of crocuses for to represent purple pinkies. And Farmington Rotary Club is selling them. There's information that you can get. They're almost done with their sale, but you can still get them, and it's a pretty good price. And of course, the proceeds go to polio. But it reminded me of a reflection that I saw years ago about crocuses. And I think it's relevant today, both in terms of Rotary's approach to polio and also Rotary's approach to the most recent terrible thing that we're facing, COVID-19. So here it goes. It takes courage to be crocus-minded, God. I'd rather wait until June, like wise roses, when the hazards of winter are safely behind, and as expected, everything's ready for roses. But crocuses, highly irregular, knifing up through hard frozen ground and snow, sticking their necks out because they believe in spring and have something personal and emphatic to say about it. God, I am by nature rose-minded. Even when I have studied the situation here and know that there are wrongs that need righting, affirmations that need stating, and know also that my speaking out may offend, for it rocks the boat. Well, I'd rather wait until June. Maybe later things will work themselves out and we won't have to make an issue of it. God forgive, wrongs don't work themselves out. Injustices and inequities and hurts don't just dissolve. Someone has to stick his or her neck out. Someone who cares enough to think through and work through hard ground because he or she believes and has something personal and emphatic to say about it. Me, God, crocus-minded? Could it be that there are things that need to be said and you want me to say them? I pray for courage. Amen. Thank you, Jake. Yes. But I have Mr. Jeff up here. Introduce our guest. If you're on Zoom, please go into the chat and put your name and so forth in so Stuart Signer can get you some information.
Thank you, President Garan. Good afternoon. Welcome to the greatest club on earth. We just have one guest online today, that Linda Ludy, that's Assistant District Governor. And it looks like we have somebody else here hiding.
Selena, she's my daughter.
Hello, Selena. Welcome. I tagged around my father when about 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, 55, 50 years ago. Yeah. Welcome one and all to Rotary. Thank you.
I don't know how that's gonna be. It might have too much protein.
Mr. Stu,
Try it.
it was our 15th temperature check.
All right, thank you very much. You owe me here. You owe me here.
That's gotta be a mistake.
Is it towel?
Happy Bucks. I don't know about that.
One instead?
Happy Bucks. Anybody got one? Just give a shit about your skin. Got kids here.
This week, I talked to you about the charities board requesting a voluntary donation from all members, $50 suggested for the polio fund, the Rotary International Polio Fund. I'm happy because we have 25 people have signed up, and we have at the moment pledges for $1,400. And if you missed the opportunity last week to sign up or call Vince, put a check in, whatever, however you might want to, I have a nice little sign up sheet I'll pass around. Okay, thank you. That sounds like a fine.
I got two happy bucks. The first is, I talked to Mary Jo Bird, and she thinks that the trophy might be in the trunk of Roger's car. She's gonna look for it. Oh, yeah, okay, well, Mary Jo's gonna look for it anyhow. Thank you. Any of you who are not able to attend the funeral yesterday, it was streamed on the computer, and they really did a remarkable job. The streaming of Best Buy. The service itself was very good, and it was highlighted by the singing by Mike Tisdale. Unbelievable. And my other happy buck is for both Michigan and Lions won large this past weekend. Lions wasn't really very large, but it's only a perfect weekend with Michigan State and the Lions win. That won't happen next week.
How about the Buckeyes? You happy about that?
Who are they?
Who are the Buckeyes?
Tom, would you?
They can't find me.
All right, so last week I had happy buck. Paul Hank here today, no. So I have a lot of jewelry, but I have this Paul Harris pen, and I have four. So that's how many times I've given plus the pin, of course. And coming up on that day, so if anybody has some raffles or money, you can give 500 from the club, and then you can give it to somebody else, and you still get credit for it too. So I want to remind people about that. But my shout out is to Paul Hake. So this means a lot to me, and it broke. So caught on it and popped the little pin on it. Online to see Russell Hanson, people who do this kind of thing, that you can't get it anymore. So I like, geez, I got my pen, I want to wear it. So I went down to Paul Hague and I said, Paul, I can't get a new one. I don't know what to do. What can we do? And he says, you leave it with me and come back in a week. So he soldered it, filed it down, soldered it, and he didn't charge me a dime. So I mean, you know, otherwise I would have lost it forever. So and I'm not wearing that giant medallion. I just feel like an ambassador. So I'm just saying, you know, if anything like that happens, go see Paul Hague, and he took care of me, and this meant a lot to me because, you know, this is the history of my Rotary experiences in the club. So give to the Paul Harris Fellowship, give to somebody in the club. If you don't want to be it yourself, you still get credit, And if anything breaks, go see Paul.
My happy buck is this past Saturday. We went over to the Rotary Gateway Park and cleaned it up. And my happy buck was I was the youngest guy there. Any other happy bucks? Smiley's here today. Birthdays. We have one. And it's a politician. David Walker. I don't know if he's on Zoom or not. Anyway, let's go ahead and sing happy birthday to him anyway. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear you. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, they paid $5. Club anniversaries, Greg Schaefer, 6 years. Richard Speeds, 31. Club announcements. We talked last week about where Rotary International sent information to us to update our constitution. We had a committee of Cindy Andrews, Christine Haig, Stu, and Ray bring it into compliance. On 10/22 was emailed out. And according to the guidelines, we're supposed to give every member 21 days to review it. So on November 17th, we will bring it to the club and vote on it. If you need a copy of it, it was emailed. If you need a copy, go back to our CPA, and he's got a copy. Linda Eastman and / Steve Ayler.
Well, we're going to have activity. We have an activity today. Poinsettia activity. No, it's okay. You can eat. Okay, as you know, it's poinsettia sale time, and Rachel and I are going to do this activity, and we wanted to do it today because I personally don't start my poinsettia selling until November 1st. I'm just philosophically opposed to doing it before Halloween. However, however you guys want to do it is great. The idea is to increase our sales, just make a commitment to increase our sales just a little bit. I'm going to make a commitment to try to increase the people I ask by 10% from last year. So I have my list, and I'm going to go and I'm going to just try to think of some more people to expand the list that I have. But what we're going to do with this exercise today, this activity, you'll see on your table, there's pens and there's little index cards. And what's your daughter's name? Talina is passing out the sheets that I want you to work with, okay? So if you would open the paper clip and pass those sheets around to everybody on your table. And what I would like you to do is take the index card and number it. We'll start with 1 to 5, but you can certainly do more than that because we're going to have a contest to see how many people we can write on our index cards. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to use the list with the little poinsettia border on it. And I want you to look at that list, and I want that to trigger or suggest or motivate you to think about those people in your life that, and each one of those people, if you use those services or have people like grandma in a nursing home or something like that, you know those people. I want you to take your index card and I want you to write down the name of that person, okay? So the sheet with all the list, that's just to get you thinking about who you might think of to widen your circle. And on the card, I want you to write down the names of those people. And that card, I want you to take that home. And I want you to add that to your list. And whenever you start to do your poinsettia sales, those are going to be the people that are going to expand your list. Now, it's not going to work if you put people that are already on your list on that card. That's not the point. The point is to expand your list. So we're gonna try to do as many as we can in 60 seconds, okay? So, but it doesn't have to be 60 seconds. When you go home, take the sheet with you and look at see how many other people you can either ask, approach to buy poinsettias for their office or for their home or whatever, or that you yourself can buy as a gift for those people on the list. So are you ready? Do you have your pens in your hand? Okay. On your mark, get set, go. Hey, psychiatrists are people too. Okay, hands up. Did anyone have 5 on their list? Anybody? All right, good, Renee. Oh, we get, or Tim, how about 6? Did anyone? All right, 6? Oh boy, it's neck and neck. How about 7? Oh, Ron has 7. 8?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, I'm impressed. 9? All right, well, Renee, hands down. Renee wins. All right, good. Okay, this is not over. You have to take your cards home with you and add them to your regular selling list. And next week, please come with an idea of anyone that I haven't thought of. Okay? If there's anybody on, like types, let's say types, friends, types, whatever, that I haven't included in that list, please either email me or tell me next week because we want to expand it as much as we can. So thank you for participating. And you're each going to get one of these in your email too.
Already safer here. Yep. Wanted to talk a little bit about.
Okay, I want to spend a few minutes chatting about foundation giving, and what I'd like to do is pass out these 3x5 cards and have everybody write down the number of ways that you can't. Excuse me.
Did you bring a prize? Because I brought a bottle of wine to make you do that. So.
Yes. Right. Just a quick update on foundation giving. Our committee has met now a number of times, and we're a little concerned in that Rotary really needs these donations. COVID has really hurt the fund in 2 ways. Number 1, donation giving is down. Number 2, requirements are up, especially polio, which I give Ron a lot of credit here because as a club, we're kind of addressing that issue this month. But I just want to remind everyone that foundation giving is very, very important. Last year, this club, 8 people stepped up and made Paul Harris donations. That's 8 people. This year so far, we've only had 1. So the committee has decided that we are going to be targeting and talking more about this. We would like to get more people involved. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Paul Harris donation. We can work with smaller amounts. But we'd like you to think seriously about giving to the foundation and continuing down the road that, this club has been very, very successful with providing donations to Rotary Foundation. And incidentally, the foundation, you can designate your award for polio. or you can designate it for the general fund. And of course, the Paul Harris is received or awarded when someone gives $1,000. The good news about that is that you only have to give 500 and the club donates the rest of that. So would really like you to consider giving to the foundation. Keep your eyes open because you're going to see a lot of publicity. We're going to target a month early next year and make it Foundation Month. So we really get focused again on giving to the International Rotary Club for all the great work that they do. Thank you.
Tom DeVoe emailed us on the 27th on helping Rotary by using Amazon. So he's got the link there. And was that for our club or for international? Tom?
That money go? Amazon style, if you go to, a lot of people use Amazon to buy online. They have a charity arm. So you put smile.amazon.com. And you go sign up in the right hand corner. But you step on the browser, the same Rochester, Rotary, charities. So once you log in, you're going to use your same login information, password. Pop up. And what happens is sales. So every quarter, Vince Patina has been getting a check, $100, whatever it is. If you get more of us using that smile.amazon, if you're going to do it, you use the charity arm and then come back to charity our so.
For some of us who have some timers, the link is on the 27th. Tom emailed us.
Money goes to Rochester Rotary.
Rochester Rotary. There you go. Jeff Whitby. Did you have, I had a couple of things for you. Yeah, first off, Rotary of the Week. No, you are supposed to pass it on to somebody. Oh, Ted. Ted then.
Where were you?
I was here. I wasn't in Ohio, that's for sure.
Oh. Get it? I'll pass it on. Pass it on to, well, I had several good. And I've ended up with someone who I think who, over the years, has really shown very deep concern for our club. Who has a deep feeling for the importance of the various good aspects of this organization, and has expressed it, and we've talked about it, and I just think that his approach has been exemplary. And so, Marty, I want to give this.
By the way, Marty, why don't you stand up just a couple seconds and give us a brief on,
Well, we had enough people to do the job and a few extras, and we think we wrapped it up in about an hour and a half. And so Bill was there, and he's not here today, but apparently his wife was doing pretty good. And anyhow, it was a lot of fun. Trying to make it next year.
I was up north trying to kill Bandy's mean uncle. He got away. All right, Sheriff, Mr. Pete Stuhlreier.
Wow. All right, let's do some housekeeping. If you're not wearing a mask right now and you're not eating, that's $5. Russ, drop it down. Caught one. I had good ones for Phil and Archibald, but since they're both wearing purple shirts, it's an automatic $5 fine. When I'm sheriff, it's a $5 fine. Let's do. It doesn't matter. It wasn't your birthday. Birthday. No, I just edited them. They're in the back. Check them out. Yeah. All right. Let's do some Halloween role playing. Knock knock. Trick or treat. Oh, just put their money on the table instead of candy. $1 each, please. Okay. You know, let's get. I don't see the dollars coming out. I'm going to double the fines in a second. In the spirit of Halloween, let's talk about it for a second. Ancient Celtic festival that was meant to scare off ghosts and chase off spirits. So $2 if you're not Irish, $2 if you've ever ghosted someone on a date, and $2 if you've ever chased spirits with a beer. Okay, got you there. Birthdays, we'll cover birthdays. Marla Maple, second wife to Donald Trump, $3 if you've ever exercised to her jazzercise tapes. Right? And $30 if you've ever exercised to Jane Fonda's exercise tapes. Got another birthday came up today, Dick Trickle, race car driver. Couldn't think of any good jokes for this crowd for that one, so I'll just move on. Anyone that is a Scorpio, or has been bitten by a scorpion, or has a Scorpions playlist on your Spotify, that's another $2. Scorpios are a passionate group, so if you are passionate about donating to good charity, $2 more. It is National Take a Field Trip Month. Unfortunately, Gretchen Whitmer had one planned, but it fell through. Really? Is it that bad? Come on. This is a tough, yeah, this is a, yeah. It is. Yeah. So last but not least, it's National Apple Month also. So is everybody online? And most of you are probably on Apple computers. So pay attention, get your chat screens ready with the number 5 digit. If you own any Apple products, phone, computer, or an Adam's apple, you know the drill. Reach down and put down a couple more bucks on the table. Thank you, and happy Halloween. You know, the Gretchen Whitmer joke was funny. I don't see how it's not. National Food.
Okay, our speaker chairman, Tim Duncan. We have someone to introduce today.
Who is that?
Who is who? Tim Duncan? It's the masked man right here.
Oh, there he is.
All right, good afternoon, Rotarians. All right, so our speaker for today is Miss Renee Courtright. She's been the executive director. Yeah, everybody, round of applause on that. Very good. And I'm done. Have a nice day. Renee has been the executive director of the OPC, the Older Persons Commission, Senior Center for 6 years. The OPC provides a wide array of personal enrichment, art, fitness, aquatic, social, travel offerings, plus a variety of supportive services for the 50 plus, which she will be speaking about today. Renee was appointed to the Commission on Services to the Aging, which provides policy for the state of Michigan's aging network, which is really cool. This appointment by the governor is a testament to her commitment to serving seniors as they age in place in their home and community. Renee is a University of Minnesota grad and has lived overseas with her husband Rick and 4 sons in Dubai, UAE, and Johannesburg, South Africa. Fun fact about Renee, she has camped on an island in the fjords of Musandam in Oman, also known as the Norway of Arabia, with unique landscapes, mountains, and sea life. So, without further ado, join me in welcoming Renee Courtright. Thank you.
She doesn't look a day over.
Bless you. Well, very good. I know that you've all listened to me before talk about what we've done for the COVID
crisis, during the COVID crisis at the OPC. I actually spoke in May. So this is an update from that time. But I also want to just take this moment to thank each and every one of you from Rochester, Rochester Hills, Oakland Township that supported our operational millage renewal in August. Just couldn't thank you enough. We passed with flying colors, and it really just goes to show how these three communities really value the seniors in their community. And honestly, this area has tended to recently, in the recent years, turn into a little bit of a retirement destination. So we're seeing the increase in those individuals that are coming into the facility every day and enjoying and participating in what we're offering. Of course, we saw a lot of that heading up into March 14th, and now things have gone looking a little bit different. But that doesn't mean that we're not continuing with our supportive services and our programs, and we're just doing it in a different way. So when it comes to slide 2. Our Meals on Wheels on March 14th, although the building closed for our activities happening within the building, our Meals on Wheels just ramped up into full force. And right there, you'll see that since March 14th, we have provided 56,489 Meals on Wheels. We also started a program, our Meals to Go. So we started toward the end of April, having the ability for those individuals that normally would come to the facility for our congregate meals to pull up and to receive a meal from their car. So it also provides a sense, still that wellness check that our Meals on Wheels clients are getting every day, a nice little Meals on Wheels or a wellness check for those individuals that are coming for that meal to go. So that is available for those seniors that are at home, and so many of them are just so missing those social hour at lunchtime, where they would come in, sit at their favorite table with their friends and have a nice meal, and then thereafter stay for a program or head on home. That just fit the bill for many of them. So as I said, we've continued with those Meals to Go. And you can see a couple of pictures here from that. We'll go to the next slide. So our transportation, I have, before COVID, we had 14 buses on the road a day. During COVID, at the height of it, we had 3 buses that were continuing to get those individuals that needed to get to dialysis. This is actually one of our dialysis clients right there on the wheelchair lift on the bus. We have some individuals that go 3 days a week dialysis, and we continue with those dialysis during this whole COVID crisis. We're back up to having 9 buses on the road a day. A lot of that will ramp up even more as we continue to add more programming within the facility. But we're still doing that very conservatively within the facility, just to make sure that we keep everybody safe. And you'll see on the next slide when it comes to our senior support services. So we have our telephone reassurance calls, and I just want to do a little shout out to the communities of Rochester Hills and Rochester. During the height of the COVID crisis, the employees of those 2 communities stepped up. I know Maria's on the call. Maria did a phenomenal job of coordinating that for the employees, making those phone calls from Rochester Hills. And then from Rochester, they did the same thing. And they provided thousands of calls that there was no way that we could all do. Many of our staff were at home working remotely. But this was something that Mayor Barnett and Blaine, just really wanted to participate and jump in there. And then we had staff on site, and we still do. We have our senior resource coordinators that are out there every day, coming in every day to continue to provide those telephone reassurance calls, the shelf-stable meal deliveries that we provide through a program called Focus Hope. And Kathy's familiar with that, because Kathy also provides Focus Hope commodity food programs at the neighborhood house. We also do that for the 60 plus at OPC. And then we also have another program that is through the Oakland Family Human Services Agency, OLSA, through Gleaners. And those are also commodity foods. Those are 4 times a year. And so we've continued with those programs. You can see right there the food being lifted onto a bus to be delivered out to the community. And then helping those seniors navigating the services. It's just been incredible trying to find those services that they need to continue to live in their homes. And a lot of it is just those reassurances through our programs that we provide at the center, knowing that they are coming back and how they can get connected and how they can see one of our, in the past, we had a counselor that would come in, a MAP counselor through the Area Agency on Aging. They're not doing that on site anymore, but we are also just guiding them to where those resources, where they can connect to those resources. And then we have our support groups. Initially, we had a support group, our grief support group that was happening virtually. And now our grief support group and our vision support group, first of all, happened underneath our garden tent, and now are happening within the facility. And then, of course, our medical equipment loan closet, that has just really ramped up. And I just want to let you know that we do have that closet available for those short-term loans for wheelchairs, walkers. We have a myriad, we just have quite a bit that comes and goes. In fact, but just as I was getting ready to leave the office today, they were taking out a couple of different items and getting them set up. And we just, we put a little tag on them, and the individuals can come by and pick them up anytime throughout the day. They're just right out the front. So we're just trying to make it as easy as possible and provide those services that we've always provided in just maybe a little bit different way right now. Next slide. So our virtual programming, at the end of April, we kicked into high gear with our virtual programming. The exercises classes, we have our yoga, our educational classes, our Ascension Providence Rochester Wellness Partner has continued to provide their, well, we used to have dinner with the doc indoors, but now we're doing dinner with the doc virtually. And we have a couple of programs that happen throughout the month with the doc. And then we have the grief support group that is happening online. Brainstorm, Excel, and Math classes. Our computer club is met virtually. I mean, the list goes on and on. We tried to be very creative. We had bingo. That was a lot of fun. And did anybody here participate in the bingo? Oh, that was a blast. In fact, Mayor Barnett was one of the callers for the bingo at one point. Some art classes and our language classes. Now we're starting to, like I said, bring some of those classes back inside. So we started with our first careful steps of reprogramming, of reopening, and that was some programming underneath the 1,800 square foot tent. We have a wonderful garden on our lower level at OPC, and this garden was just a perfect setting to put up this tent and offer these programs under the tent. So not only did we have the exercises you can see there, we had the art programming, our Veterans Connection group was able to start meeting again. And it's just so wonderful, our Veterans Connection. We have a woman by the name of Angela that has been part of that. Her husband was a veteran and he is no longer with her, but she still comes because she feels such a wonderful connection with this group. So she was there and I said, how you doing? How you doing, Angela? The first couple of times. And she said, Renee, I am so happy you are offering all this programming. I started with the virtual programming and I made the transition to come for the programming under the tent. And she says, I'm signing up for everything. I finally have a purpose. I felt so depressed just sitting at home, but knowing that you have these classes and it gives me purpose, it gives me a reason to get up and get dressed every morning. And she signed up for everything. She's 85 years old. She said, I was a working woman and I so miss not working. And this has just been wonderful to have that opportunity to keep going and keep my mind and body active. So some of those activities, as you can see, happened underneath the tent. And what happened was with some of the changes within the executive orders, we were able to start opening up and offering programming within the facility. And that happened at the beginning of September. So a lot of the activities that were happening outside are now happening indoors. And as you are all aware, and I'll have you go to the next There we go. As you are all aware, we have this wonderful facility, and that's something that we are so blessed to have, because I know so many of my colleagues are in much smaller facilities, 20,000 square feet, 30,000 square foot senior centers. To have a 90,000 square foot senior center with an expansive gym and our auditorium and our dining room and a lot of workout rooms, but we're not using those right now. Those activities are happening in our gym and in our larger rooms, but we're so blessed to have this facility that we have. And so that has made it possible for us to bring that programming inside. And we're doing it well, and we're doing it safely, and we are cleaning and sanitizing. As you can see right there, those are some of the preparations that we put into place before we reopen, with the masks and the sneeze guards and the signage and the hand sanitizer stations and the screening for staff and members, and everybody signs a code of conduct disclaimer before they participate in any of the facility activities. I know Tom has been there to take advantage of some of our new programming that we're offering. So it has really been fantastic, and it's wonderful to see the smiling faces. We'll go to the next slide. So what we've done is this phased reopening. So first of all, we brought those programs that were outside inside, which was the presentations and the art and the support groups. And then we slowly added on. So at the beginning of October, we reopened the wood shop. So we have a limited number coming into the wood shop each day. And then the next week was the reopening of the cardio and the weight rooms. Last week, or the pools. We started open the pools. And this was a limited number of individuals in both the therapy pool and the lap pool. Some people said, well, why only 2 people in each pool? It's not the pools I'm concerned about. The CDC says swimming in the pool, you're fine. Everybody walks in, they have a mask, they take off their mask before they get in the pool, and they put their mask on when they get out of the pool, and of course they don't shower with the mask on. But the concern is the locker rooms. We cannot have too many in the locker room. It's that capacity limit. And I'm very, like I said, I'm very conservative in how we move forward. And since the majority of our individuals that do swim in our pools are women, our women's locker room tends to be, with a lot of women in it. So as we move forward in the month of November, we're allowing 4 people in the lap pool and 3 people in the therapy pool, because the therapy pool can also have personal training, and also physical therapy can happen in those pools. So as I move forward, we're just looking at this very conservatively, and I just wanting to maintain what we're doing, keep it safe, and then as we see the numbers with the COVID start to maybe decrease, then we can maybe go in a different direction. But at this point in time, I feel very comfortable with what we're doing, and all of our activities have a capacity limit. They have to sign up, they have to pre-register for all the classes that they are participating in the building. It is not like it was in the past where you can just walk up to the door and it opens and come on in. It's not that way. Everybody has to register in advance. We have a registration online, or they can call in. We have a cashier 5 days a week answering those calls and getting those individuals signed up for those classes. We did open our walking track on Monday, yesterday, and we had very happy people and very pleased to be able to come in. The wonderful part is that we still have the virtual programming. So if those individuals are feeling a bit unsafe about entering the facility, we have that opportunity for them to continue to exercise, continue to do yoga, meet with the grief support group, do some language classes. And we're being very creative. We're just trying to look at things all a little bit differently. As you're familiar, we always had our picnic every year. Mayor Barnett was our hot dog sponsor, and he would be there to hand out the hot dogs. Well, what we did this year is we still had our picnic, but we had our picnic was a drive-through picnic. So, and we had it circus themed. We had a lot of individuals in clown costumes, and we had cars available because we always have a car show at our picnic. They drove past the classic cars. They Jennifer Kinsler was there. She was entertaining as they drove through. Then they came up, picked up their hot dog in a nice little to-go container, and Mayor Barnett gave out his famous chocolate bars. And then they continued through, and we had our sponsors hand out different items. I have our monthly newsletters are on the back table there. I also have our November newsletter. In fact, what we're going to be doing for the month of November is we normally do 250 turkey dinners inside OPC. Instead, we're doing 250 drive-through turkey dinners. And that is in care of our longtime sponsor for our Thanksgiving meal, the Kiwanis in Rochester Hills. So we're just continuing on, just has a different look about it. And like I said, we have a lot of happy people. We're just trying to keep it very creative and doing what we can to keep people active and engaged. As you are all aware, the depression, the social isolation, the fear that so many are feeling right now, all ages, of course, but many of those seniors that are at home and not wanting to leave their home, we're just doing all that we can to keep them engaged and let them know that we care. And, we just keep on keeping on, right? Just like we're doing here with Rotary. I just want to lastly, our last slide here is with just want to say, of course, we're in this together, aren't we now? And we have had so many generous community members, individuals, groups, businesses that have just stepped up and provided their support for our volunteers, for our staff, for the Meals on Wheels clients, done so much, and we couldn't be happier for what we've been able to do during this time. I do want to mention, I didn't say it earlier, but one of the other creative ways that we're trying to help those individuals that don't necessarily want to leave their home is now we have these art to go little bags that people can come by and buy $15 and go home and do art at home because maybe they don't feel comfortable coming into the facility. This is one of the art to go items. So this has been, again, another opportunity to keep people interactive in their homes as long as possible. And if they don't feel safe and secure about leaving and coming to the OPC. I just want to do again, a shout out to Kathy. We're at Neighbor House for while she's doing, the commodity food program is a big program. We've given out over 4,000, I think it's about 4,500 pounds of food. That's commodity foods through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and also produce boxes. It's a big job. And I know what they're doing over there is the same. It's just trying to keep everybody fed and they have that connection. So anyway, thank you again for the opportunity to update you on all that we're doing at the OPC. And if you have any questions, please let me know if they have any questions right now.
There was a question about flu shots given out by a nurse who will come to your house through Oakland County.
Yes, there are. That is something that the Oakland County Health Division does have their nurse on call. All they need to do is call nurse on call and set up an appointment, and a nurse will come to your home and give you a flu shot. So we gave those information out to all of our Meals on Wheels clients, and plus we sent it out to all of our individuals that are participating in our commodity foods program. Yes.
Built and funded by housing. So how do you handle retirement? How is that handled? Because pretty soon, we're going to see that capacity. More retirement.
Okay, the question is about all of these these retirement facilities, assisted living and so forth coming into the facility, and how are we dealing with the tax situation and also the capacity. it's one of those things that is in a sense a little bit of an unknown in regards to our capacity, what we'll get. I know many individuals or people were wondering about, say, Cedarbrook that moved into the area. Are we going to go over? Well, they only have so much independent living in that facility. So when it comes to independent living, you know, that's, they may or they may not come because they have a lot of activities at their centers too. So it's really a mix. You know, many of those individuals may just come for a specific thing, like to swim. So we haven't at this point. I know we've talked about it within our staff and so forth. I think it's just something that as we go on, we definitely will be addressing more and more as it happens. But they all pay for the classes that they sign up for. So, you know, as they come in, they pay the $6 registration fee, and then they pay for the classes that they participate in. Does that answer your question? Yeah, they have the property that they're paying. You know, the properties within our Rochester Hills, Oakland Township area. Then they just are considered a resident of the community.
Facility pays property tax.
Yeah, and the facility pays property tax. Yes, exactly. Any other questions you might have?
Renee,
Very good. Thank you for your time.
So she has the OPC monthly newsletter in the back, and also copies of the Constitution that will be voted on in a few weeks. Any other comments before we close out? Meeting adjourned.